Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for March 9th through 15th. You guys know what to do. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and influences of the week. What else? Comments down below. I just ask that you be kind. I'd love to hear if some of these messages resonate with you. What else, guys? I think that's it. Same 3 decks you guys are familiar with that I've been using, shuffled in the order that feels most aligned to me. And I think that's it. Deep breath. Let's begin. What do we need this? I guess it's is it the second full week of March? I think it is. Let's see what we need. All right, we need imagination. Okay, so we need to start using our imaginations. So creativity. God, I can never get over the artwork here. I haven't seen all of the, I've seen all of the cards, but this is a new deck, so it's still, the artwork still blows my mind, I guess I should say. But yeah, imagination means that we need to start imagining things, so we need to be more creative. This could also be that we need to start imagining or visualizing our future more, or what we want, or our goals. Like we actually, I'm getting this feeling that we could start planning things, that we need to start planning things. Let our imagination go wild. Maybe you're able to think bigger now for whatever reason. Maybe something's been holding you back that you haven't been able to do. Maybe something that was unknown. I know we've kind of gotten messages like that over the years about not sure where our life is headed, in what direction. Maybe we're still in survival mode or doing whatever. So now we can kind of imagine a future for ourselves and maybe start planning, and that's a really positive thing. I love that. All right, action needed. We have gossip in the shadow, thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. We've been getting this card a lot. So being in this shadow. All right, guys, we talked about this last time. I think it was actually under the surprise section here. Not quite sure. I don't quite remember, but this is definitely saying that, it's not the greatest card to get. So somebody may be gossiping about you. Somebody might be betraying your confidences, telling your secrets, that kind of thing. And so it's under action needed. So it's saying that we need to take action on that. So, you might be confronting the person. You might be breaking off that relationship. You might be taking it head on. Like I said, confronting them. You might be killing a rumor as it's come to you. Maybe you're the person that's always gossiping, and maybe you've heard something you're not going to tell anybody. But there needs to be some action on a gossip going around, secrets going around. But this is saying it needs to be stopped. You need to kind of stop it in its tracks. So you might be the one, you ever play that telephone game when you were little, where somebody would say something and it kind of goes around the room, like as a domino effect. You're the domino that doesn't fall, right? You're the telephone that doesn't ring somebody else, that kind of thing. So this is about nipping it in the bud. But again, it could be maybe you're just not telling somebody. Maybe you've learned your lesson with something and you're just not telling anybody your secrets anymore because you can't trust them. Okay, so that could be that as well. But you're definitely taking action needed. There needs to be action on this. So you're taking action, and basically it's saying you're either stopping telling somebody your secrets, you're either stopping a rumor in its tracks, you're either breaking off a friendship where you feel like you can't, or some kind of acquaintance where you feel like you can't tell them anything, or somebody that's like a gossip person, somebody that's very gossipy. You're cutting them off, or putting distance between you two, whatever it is. But this has got to stop. That's what it's saying. So we're actually finally taking action on it. We've been having this gossip card kind of come up over the weeks. Especially, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was last week. I'm pretty sure somebody was betraying her confidences in some way, shape, or form. I think that was the red flag of the reading. Can't trust my memory, but pretty sure that was it. But if that is the case, that makes sense. We're actually taking action on it this week. All right, issue. We have the fates. Okay, so this is a good one, even under issue, because basically it's saying that if it will be. If something is fated to happen, it will happen. So we kind of have to let go of control. We kind of have to let go of the unknown. And we're having issues doing that. Even though we've gotten this card here where it says that we can plan a little bit, we can take another step and maybe plan ahead, plan our future. maybe there are still things that are unknown, and that's kind of some of the issues, like where you're trying to kind of think ahead, but things are still unknown, so you're kind of like in this murky place. But this is definitely about like understanding that if it will be, it will be. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. So this is really about like not forcing things, you know, very similar to like the synchronicity cards or the serendipitous card we have. If it'll be, it will be. Okay, don't force anything. Don't spend your time worrying about whether this is going to happen or that's going to happen. You will be expending extra energy this week if you know, tireless energy this week. It's just not worth it. You kind of have to really embody that, you know, if it'll be, it will be, kind of situation. So there's not too much. There might be a situation where you can't control too much and you kind of just have to let it go. Like, for example, if an opportunity comes to you this week and you can't take it for whatever reason, it was not meant to be, at least this month. Maybe it'll come around in another 6 months when you're ready or when you can do it or something like that. It has to be, you know, and you're probably wrestling with that because maybe you really wanted the opportunity or something like that, but this is coming through and saying, nope, this is fated. You kind of have to let it go, let the universe do its thing, trust the universe, that kind of thing. I know it's difficult. Trust me, I know it's difficult. All right, challenge. Snake shedding. Okay, so you're having challenges shedding maybe an old identity, shedding something, letting go of something. I like this. You guys know how I like the letting go and the new beginnings energy. So we're having challenges shedding something. So shedding a reputation, maybe people, I hate this because like when you grow, sometimes people relate to you or interact with you or communicate with you to like an old version of yourself. And it becomes very difficult because you're a new version, or at least like in a limbo situation, and it becomes very awkward, or it just feels like you're not that person anymore. So I definitely do feel like there might be challenges in this area where maybe somebody or something is, like I said, relating to you, but it's like an old version of you. So you're trying to, we're in a weird time, even astrologically, I feel like, where we are not quite in our new skin yet, and we're still doing the shedding stuff. Hopefully we are in March, and March 20th is the spring equinox, but hopefully more so, again, towards the end of this month, mostly April, we'll start feeling like a new version of ourselves and feel like we're embodying that more, hopefully. But we're still getting, like shedding of the skin. So we're just still letting go of layers of ourselves, and it might be challenged. Maybe you're just afraid to like let go of versions of yourself as well, like a version of yourself. That might also be the issue, and the challenge, basically. So maybe letting go of like old habits you might be having issues with, that kind of thing. Not necessarily like how somebody relates to you. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the background noise. Hopefully you can still hear me, but I live in New York City. I have ambulances going all the time around here. Okay, change, liberator. Okay, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Love this. Love this coming after the snake too, because it's saying that what's changing is that we're liberating ourselves, that we're freeing ourselves. So definitely feeling more free in some way, shape, or form. Again, free to imagine things, free to be more creative, free to plan more for the future. There's something liberating us, and I see nothing but positives from that. There's not too much more I can say here, but you're feeling more free in some way, shape, or form this week, and we love it. Okay, focus. We have regeneration, also another good one. Regeneration, you guys know I have damaged nerves. I always think of nerves. Neuroplasticity is basically the regeneration of nerves. So they're coming back. They could be rewired. They could be better. They could come back the same. So it's basically just like reinventing yourself, repopulating something. So it's basically saying like focus on replacing what has been lost is maybe like a good way to put it too. So focus and make that a priority. Also, when I think of the regeneration card, I give the example of like if your house burned down, God forbid, you're building back the house, but you're building it back better. Maybe you make an extra bedroom. Maybe you always wanted a patio, like whatever it actually is. And so maybe this is basically saying like, okay, make that plan, take the first step, put down the foundation, like that kind of thing. But continue focusing on replacing what was lost, repopulating something. Just keep building, keep looking forward. Reflect. Wind movement. Okay, so reflect on how you move, maybe. So this could be like maybe thinking, being a little bit more introspective of how you move your body, what kind of exercises that you want to be doing, how you want to nourish your body, how you want to be less sedentary, how you want to move around more, how you want to get walks in before your work day and at the end of your work day, maybe a different gym routine, maybe a different hobby like dancing that can get your body moving, something along those lines. Maybe you used to do dancing, and kind of reflect on what you want to kind of do to move your body more. We are coming out of like a winter, we're still technically in winter, but we're coming out of like a winter hibernation. So maybe, I don't blame anybody that didn't want to kind of go to the gym or work out when it's like really, really cold. You want to stay under the covers. I get it, but this is time to definitely start reflecting on how we want to move our bodies more. So could it mean, just one last thing, could it mean that movement in the way of like moving locations? Possibly for some of you guys. This is for the collective, so there's a lot of different energies that are showing up to these readings. It could possibly mean that for you, but I do think it means more physical movement for sure. All right, responsibilities. We have mystic in the shadow, delusional, rapport with the divine. Okay, so this is this is like this is how I interpret this. It's like saying like, don't be delusional with spirituality. And the way that I mean this in Center Responsibilities is saying like, don't necessarily fall into like spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity, or like using spirituality for complex psychological issues, like that kind of thing. So don't spiritual bypass is basically what this card, at least the energy is what I'm feeling. So it's under responsibility. So it's your responsibility to take care of any issues that arise. Do not try to brush it under the rug with a lot of spiritual bypassing. I think it's interesting it comes underneath the fates because the fates is basically saying like, if it'll be, it'll be, it's kind of talking about, in a way like destiny, or like I mentioned, flow and synchronicity, which is definitely fine to explain the stuff that's like happening in your life, but don't take it to an extra level where maybe you don't go deeper with some of the psychological or mental health issues that maybe arise with that. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, so it's basically saying like, don't like overdo it, I guess is the way to kind of explain that. Don't force happiness or contentness. If you're feeling angry or you're feeling anxious, like go ahead and feel those things. It's okay to feel those things, but I understand how it can, because I am definitely a perpetrator of this. I do this. I do a lot of spiritual bypassing, but I won't get into it here, but sometimes I feel like it's necessary to, like, for survival aspects, but in this case it doesn't feel that way. But it's basically saying like, stay as grounded as you possibly can, deal with your issues, especially if they're involved with other people. Don't necessarily spiritual bypass and toxic positivity your way out of conflict this week. Okay, that's what I feel with this. All right, money and finances and career. I put them all in the same kind of category. All that glitters. Okay, so this is basically saying all that glitters is sometimes like, maybe there's something better for me, kind of always looking for, something better. Now, it doesn't mean like a positive or a negative thing in this case. So maybe you're looking for a better job. Maybe you're feeling your worth, you're not being paid your worth where you are. So you're kind of like looking for something else, developing more like I said, understanding your worth more and realizing that maybe that's better. You could have like just gotten a job and realized like maybe it's not what you thought it would be. Maybe you like left like a really, a job that maybe you didn't necessarily love, and you thought that this avenue would be better, this path would be better, and now you're in the job and it's not as great as you thought it was. Like maybe there was like rose-colored glasses. I think it's very interesting coming off of the delusional mystic card, because basically saying like, maybe we thought it would be better for us, but it's not necessarily better for us, or maybe it's just different. Okay, maybe not using that word better could just be different, because like I said, I'm not necessarily getting like a negative or positive connotation from this. It's just saying like, this is the situation that you might find yourself in, where you thought maybe like something else was better for you, and maybe it's turning out it's not, or it's equal, or whatever. There might, like, I'm definitely feeling like there might be doubts. Like I said, if you move jobs and now you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if that was like the right move, or it's not better, or whatever. And same thing with like money finances. Maybe you switched banks and you thought it would be better, but it's like the same. Or maybe you switched investing companies, or maybe you switched how you invest, and maybe it's not better. Maybe like I'll be honest with you guys, like I'm feeling a blah feeling. So it's almost like I do feel like it's like more neutral. Like maybe you switched something and it's just not as great as you thought it was going to be. Maybe you're a manager and you fired somebody and you hired somebody, and it's basically the same thing. Like you thought that you would be getting like a more, your employee would be getting more work done or something like that, and it's like exactly the same. Or it's not better, it's just, it is, it's neutral. So there's something here with neutrality, but yeah, so if you are thinking of switching jobs and you think something might be better, I would implore you to make sure you're not looking at it with rose-colored glasses and in like a delusional kind of thinking. Like definitely take the energy coming off of the Mystic card here and be a little bit more grounded with it. And have a little bit more discernment, I think is like the best thing I can say here. So again, not good, not bad, just is. Okay, surprise. Wow. I'm telling you, these cards blow me away, the artwork. Okay, crystal quartz, focus. Okay, so surprise, focus. All right, so basically it's saying like it's important for you to focus. It's important for you to lock in, and it's, okay, so it's under surprise. So basically it's saying maybe there's something that kind of comes out of nowhere where you focus on it. Where you have complete focus. So maybe you've been putting off a task, or you weren't able to make it a priority before, and all of a sudden you can kind of get it done or focus on it, or spend some time really locked in on it. Maybe it has something to do with like a home improvement that you've been doing that you're not sure that you would have had time to do, or like you've been putting it off for like so long, and all of a sudden you're focusing on it and you're getting it done. So there's something that maybe is like long standing that you have not made a priority, but you lock in, you focus, and you get it done, or at least you start the project or really make a huge headway on it. But you're like locked in. For those that have ADHD, if you know, when you get hyper fixated on something, that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting here. You get hyper focused on it, hyper fixated, and you get the thing done, or like I said, get a huge, finish it in a huge chunk or whatever, get a big chunk done or whatever. So yeah, I gave the example of like a home improvement project, but could really be anything. So you'll get like, I'm also feeling like an accomplished feeling from this. So I like that. That's really cool. Friends, we have Judge, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Okay, so this is about being fair to friends and family. So whether you're being more fair to, I don't know, like giving equal time to each friend group, or hearing your friends out when they're having an argument, or even just like balancing a social life and a work life, right? Because this Judge is also like about balance in general, right? Not just justice and compassion, just balance in general. This could also be like Less so, but it's something to mention. Maybe if there's like a power dynamic in a relationship, in your family situation or friends group, it starts to even out. If that makes sense. Most likely not. Most likely more of the former I mentioned, but yeah, I like that. Just feels more balanced, more even keeled in our relationships, which I think is a positive thing. Romantic connection, we have Treasure Island. Ooh, okay. So this could definitely be like, finding treasure. This could, the fact that it's under romantic connection, I get this every once in a while. This could actually be like a piece of jewelry, like finding like something of like a knickknack of some kind that is of value. So your partner could be giving you a piece of jewelry, or you're buying an expensive piece of jewelry for your significant other, or some kind of heirloom, or some kind of I use the word knickknack, but maybe like something of value to only them. Could be a family ancestry as well. You might find something, possibly, maybe it's under romantic connection, so maybe you find like your grandmother's old love letters, your grandfather's old love letters to your grandmother, and it's you read them to your significant other, and it gets you guys closer, or whatever, like something along those lines. But could be like getting an engagement ring as well. Could be this. It's not necessarily symbolizing like the next step to a relationship, so it might not be that. If this is just really like providing value in some way to your partner, but it feels more a material way. So like that's why I'm mentioning like the jewelry or something given to them of value. It doesn't have to be like really expensive, but something of value to the person. Could it be non-material? Yes. Maybe your partner is somebody that has been asking for more words of affirmation or something, and you give them more words of affirmation this week or whatever. Or if it's the opposite, if you've been asking for that, you get it more this week. Your partner wants to give you that treasure, wants to give you that gift. It's possible, but I definitely feel like it's more connected to, again, like a material thing, a financial thing kind of going on. Yeah, not too much more I can say here. I think it's a positive thing, though, for sure. Yeah, okay, I like that. We like jewelry, right? We like when our partner, makes us feel appreciated in that way. Okay, what's important? Voice. Okay, I'm pretty sure we had this as well in the last reading. So this is about using your voice, expressing your voice. So it's important to speak up. Makes a lot of sense with the action needed card up there, right? Where we have to speak up against gossip. We have to speak up against somebody betraying us. Like we have to speak up to that. We have to actually like verbalize it and take action on it. So that makes sense that this is here. So express yourself. It also could be like expressing yourself in the way of creativity. Maybe write something, do art. Also connected to the imagination card coming out there. Saying this is what we need. So it's definitely connected to the things that we need up there. So we definitely need to express ourselves, say what's on your mind, let it out. This is not a week for people pleasing, okay? And my people pleasers out there, you have to express what's bothering you. You have to express yourself, your boundaries, your needs, all of that stuff. So yeah, I like it. It's a good card. Health and wellness, we have visionary in the shadows, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Okay, so interesting one to get under health and wellness. Let's see how I can interpret this. All right, the best way I can interpret this for this is it's kind of, so the visionary is like you have a brilliant idea. It's a very fantastic idea, but the shadow is basically saying like you kind of like let it go, because either the card says the highest bidder. So like if you like if somebody wants it and you don't think they're going to treasure it or appreciate it, you just give it to them anyway, right? It's kind of saying like you need to protect your ideas, you need to protect and value what you have, like your ideas and your creations, basically is what it's saying. So it's saying you kind of have to protect that. So the best way you can kind of think of this is the fact that it's under health and wellness, and I can relate it to that, is like maybe you have like an idea about something health and wellness related, and somebody comes along and maybe puts thoughts into your head about it not being great, and that kind of messes with you. Okay. What's a good example for this? Okay, so say you're on a mental health journey and your friend has been going to therapy and they've been telling you about it, and they tell you about this program. It's a lot of money, and the therapist said it would really help them, and your friend is saying like, I think that's a waste of money. I think they're trying to scam you, or like whatever it actually is, and it kind of like diminishes how you're feeling about it, about the vision of how you foresee yourself going through the program, and how you see your recovery and your mental health and all of this stuff, your mental health outcomes. And they come in and they kind of like put doubts in your head, and it kind of sours how you feel about it. That's the energy that I'm trying to capture here. That's kind of hard to articulate, but it feels like that. Like it feels like you have an idea. Maybe you have a direction of where you want to go, an idea of where you want to go, or an idea about something, and someone kind of comes in and kind of not squashes it, but plants those seeds of doubt in your head. Now, I'm not saying planting those seeds of doubt is not a terrible thing. Like maybe your friend is just concerned. They might not have malicious intentions about it, but it definitely feels like it's like squashing your excitement about it. It's kind of not putting you down, but again, squashing the excitement, putting doubts in your head, like that kind of thing. So it's kind of up to you. Use your own discernment, use your own intuition, obviously, about how you should go forward with this. But I definitely do feel like there might be other forces that get in your head about it. And like I said, it's not that your friend's not cheering you on. If they're a good friend, they're probably coming from a place of concern, like that kind of thing. And so it's okay for people to be concerned when somebody, the visionary is about like having like a really brilliant idea that might be like light years ahead of people, and people like don't understand it, so they start questioning it. And it's okay to question things, maybe you're looking for them to match the excitement, but that's not what happens here. Like it's not about matching excitement. That's like a good way to put it as well. It's like they don't see the vision like you see it. They don't match that excitement, and that might kind of put a damper on things. So, maybe you're trying to do a new health. Maybe you want to get on a GLP-1, and you see the vision. You talk to your doctor about it, and then somebody comes along and they're like, well, what about this, and this, that kind of thing. Obviously, it has everything has its side effects, right? All your decisions should be between you and your practitioner. Use your intuition, use your discernment, but I definitely do feel like the peanut gallery is not so great in this situation. So this could be related to possibly this card here, where maybe your friends are just trying to be balanced, and show you the pros and cons of something that could be, could link to that for sure. Definitely could be linked to this, card, especially the example that I gave, could be definitely linked to this, but they're just trying to be fair. I don't see any nefarious reasons behind somebody trying to do this, or trying to, nobody's trying to squash your vision. Nobody's trying to put you down, but the seeds of doubt do get sown here. So when it comes to like your health and wellness journey, so take that as you will. That was a hard one to explain, but If that resonates with you guys, please put it down below, because I'm trying to think how that would. Obviously, the week hasn't began yet, so maybe it'll make more sense and get clearer as I go along the week. But that's what that's trying to say, as best I can explain it. All right, overall outcome, we have happy. Ooh, this is a good one to end with. We like this one. Okay, so this is basically being in a happier mood overall. Feeling really joyful, feeling really optimistic about the future, about how the week went, just really being in a good mood. We like that through the weekend. So next weekend, awesome. Looks like a really good weekend. So definitely, if you can, plan something fun. But yeah, I love this card. Do I see anything that's red flags? I really don't, to be honest with you. This one up here, the gossip in the shadow, usually does kind of bring like a dark cloud a little bit over it. So we might be, like I said, having to realizing that we have to put distance between ourselves and a gossiper or somebody that can't keep secrets or whatever. So that's kind of a dark cloud in a little bit, but in a way. But other than that, this is just growth, okay? With this snake shedding the skin, so we might just feel uncomfortable and just be challenging in that way. But other than that, I'm liking this week. I think this is really, things are, like I said, the last card, overall outcome is basically a more optimistic view on things, and we like that, okay? Just don't fall into toxic positivity, right? So just be authentic, but organically it feels like we end the week in a very joyful place. So I like that. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. It looks like you will, and have a good one. Okay, bye.